You are good, your love endures forever. These are the words of King David and the words we can. I ask that you would bless this time, that you would bless this work, that you would bless these people, that our hearts would be oriented towards you, our thoughts would be on you, our actions would follow after you, so that in all things we may serve each other in your name. We pray this in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, moving right along, we're going to do public comments if there are any.
I don't have any at this time.
Okay, so right now it's at 9 o'clock. We're going to skip to agenda item 6, Richard L. Jackson, County Judge, Brenda L. Trevino, County Auditor, 9 a.m., 2021 tax rate hearing.
Commissioners, a tax rate of 0.4228 cents per $100 valuation has been proposed by this governing body. The proposed tax rate of 0.4228 per 100, a no new revenue tax rate of 0.4280 per $100, and a voter approval rate of 0.4497 per $100. The tax rate being proposed of 0.4228 is a decrease of 0.0623 cents for every $100, or a 12.84% decrease. The average homestead taxable value in 2021 is $218,776. Last year it was $200,071, with an increase of $18,705, or 9.35%. The tax on that average homestead last year was $971. This year it's $925, for a decrease of $46. Total tax levy on all properties, $15,899,629, or a 3.48% increase.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have anybody signed up for a
Nobody
comment?
to make public comment, Judge.
Okay. We have no one signed up for a public comment? Let's see. So, then let's move right along. We're going to go to agenda item number 7, Richard L. Jackson County Judge, Brenda Trevino County Auditor. 7A, vote on setting the salary, expenses, and other allowances of elected county or precinct officers. Local Government Code 152.013.
The proposed salaries and all expenses were provided to all elected officials in the proposed budget. The notice of publication that went into the Wilson County News was on August the 11th. Wilson County has proposed the following pay increases for elected officials for the fiscal year 2022 budget. Constable Precinct 1, Constable Precinct 2, Constable Precinct 3, and Constable Precinct 4, a 27.8% increase. County Tax Assessor Collector, County Treasurer, County Clerk, and District Clerk, a 5% increase. All other elected officials, a 3% increase.
We have any comments? Have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve it as presented.
Motion by Commissioner Wiley,
Second.
second by Commissioner Perdola, that we approve setting the salaries and expenses for the elected officials and precinct officers. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Now we're moving right along to 7B, adopt for 2021-2022 Local Government Code 111.008. Adopt the budget.
Commissioners and Judge, on August 23rd, we held a public budget hearing over the proposed budget. You asked for me to revise 3 departments, one for district court and the other 2 in the sheriff's department, which I did. I made those line item adjustments. It did not change the bottom line on the budget, so in front of you, you have the final proposed budget for your consideration of adoption. And I even put a table of contents in there this year, so it's easier to find what you're looking for.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It made it a lot easier, I think.
I'll make a motion to adopt the budget for 2021, 2022.
Motion by Commissioner Martin,
Second.
second by Commissioner Perdola, that we adopt the budget that's proposed for 2021 and 2022. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay. And now, 7C, we have to vote to ratify the property tax increase, Local Government Code 111.008C.
Per HB 3195, the fiscal year 2022 budget, this budget will raise more property taxes than last year's budget by $534,743.33, which is a 3.4803% increase from last year's budget. And of that amount, $502,524.92 is tax revenue to be raised from new property added to the tax roll this year.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to ratify the property tax increase.
Motion by Commissioner Martin. Second by Commissioner Fowle. Excuse me. Okay, motion by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Fowle. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that one passes unanimously. Okay, now, here we go. 7D, vote to set 2021 tax rate, and we have to do this separately. 7D1, the M&O rate, 2021, the rate, tax rate is .4076. You have any comments on that, Brenda? Nope, that's what you already read us.
It's .4076. I just wanted to note that it is a decrease from last year's M&O rate of .4637.
I'll make that motion, Judge.
Motion by Commissioner Fowle, we set the tax rate.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Wiley. This is the M&O tax rate. Is there any more discussion on this? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that's right. Now we have to do our INS, interest and sinking, 2021 tax rate of .0152. This is what we have on our certificates of obligation.
Yes, sir. And last year it was .0164. Our total net outstanding bond on October 1, 2021 will be $6,020,000.
I'll make a motion to accept the INS rate at .0152.
Motion by Commissioner Martin,
Second.
second by Commissioner Perdola, that we accept the INS tax rate of .0152. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So we have all of our,
One more.
one more. Oh,
Gotta do the
I'm sorry.
combined.
Yes, now we have this motion that,
I move that the property tax rate be decreased by the adoption of a tax rate of .4228, which is effectively a 1.2% decrease in the no new revenue tax rate.
okay.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Wiley, that we accept the total tax rate of .4228. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously.
Okay, I'm going on vacation and I'll see you next year.
Okay. We're going to go back to agenda item 4, certificates of,
I'm sorry, I need your signature on this.
Okay. You can throw that other one away then. It's the same thing.
The 1.2
Yes, but
is correct.
you filled the motion now.
Okay, yes.
Thank you. Okay. Now here we go to certificates of completion and awards, agenda item number 4. Okay, certificate of completion. The V.G. Young Institute of County Government awards this certificate to Paul Fowle for successfully completing 13 hours of educational training at the 87th Annual South Texas Judges and Commissioners Association of South Padre Island, June 28th through July 1st. Okay. Course completion certificate. This is to certify that Don P. Burnett completed the 87th regular session state laws and rules update session on August the 19th, 2021, 2 hours continued education. Linebarger, attorneys at law. Okay. Certificate of training. This is to certify that Olga Marrero and Rose Labas, Wilson County, has successfully completed the cybersecurity awareness training program requirement for year 2022 Texas County Scores House Bill 3834. Completion date 9/2/21. Okay. And we have for Courtney White, Achievement in Service Award. Okay, Communicator Award Promotional Package, and this is, let's see. And Specialty Award in Excellence Educational Technology. And Nicole Demmer. Okay, the State Texas Extension Association of Family and Consumer Sciences Marketing Package Award, Social Media Education Award, Communications Newsletters Award, Communications Television Video Award, and Healthy Texas BLT Award. Does that stand for what I think it stands for, or is it something else? Okay, and then Southern Region Awards, first place, Social Media Education Award, second place, Communications Radio and Podcast Award, and third place, Communications Television Video Award. And then national awards, National Extension Association of Family and Consumer Sciences, first place, national winner, Social Media Education Award, and third place, national winner, Communications Radio or Podcast Award. Okay, and Samantha Shannon, Wilson County NCRCEA District 10, Texas County Agricultural Agents Association Early Career Agent Recognition Award. So, I think that's got it all. Okay, now we have the extension activity handouts, agenda item, let's see, 5. I got so many marks on here now. Let's see. The girls aren't here this morning, or the ladies aren't here this morning. Does anybody have any comments or questions? Or mostly comments? If not, we're going to move right along to Agenda item number 8. Richard L. Jackson County Judge, Brenda Trevino County Auditor, awarded bids. A, materials hauling, materials plus hauling. B, fuel. C, towing. D, lawn maintenance services.
So you all have the bid tabulation that was presented to you after we calculated. I'll let you speak or discuss to material, fuel, and towing.
I got no problem of awarding to all the material vendors, unless there's somebody just doesn't use. Continue to give us the flexibility who has the best price in each precinct, since they vary from precinct to precinct.
No, I think they should all be approved. I agree with you. Because you never know what you're going to come up with.
I'll make a motion to award the material hauling and the material plus hauling awards to all the bidders that submitted a bid.
And I'll second that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Wiley, that we accept all bids for material hauling, material plus hauling. Is there any more discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we got that one. Now we're going to fuel. 8B, fuel. Has everybody got their own, I think?
Yes,
We have two
you all
different-
have your bid tab as well. There were 3, Arnold Oil, Cruise, DBA John's Oil, and Midtex Oil.
I've used Midtex we've used Midtex since before I became a commissioner. We have some tanks of other things that they provide other than fuel. So I want to continue with Midtex myself.
Cruise is the same price, and we've been on using Cruise.
Yeah.
John's All.
Yeah, I understand. But there's nothing wrong with staying where you are. I'm just saying that for Precinct 4, I want to remain in the position that I'm in.
I'll make a motion that we approve Cruise, John's All, and Midtech, all for Precinct 4.
All right? I'll second that.
And the first,
What is
Are
this
you
again?
going to, are you awarding all? Because Arnold
No.
Oil is in there as well,
No.
or just the 2?
No, just Cruise and Midtech.
Okay, Midtex for precinct 4 and Cruise for precinct 1, 2, and 3,
And the sheriff.
and the sheriff? Okay. Okay.
They're basically the same price.
Okay, we got a motion?
Yes, he made the motion. I second.
And he
And
said,
you second it? Okay, motion by Commissioner Fowle, second by Commissioner Wiley, that we accept Midtex Fuel for precinct 4 and Cruise.
John's All.
Is it still John's Oil?
John's Oil.
Okay, that's what I thought. For precinct 1, precinct 2, precinct 3, and the sheriff's office. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so this is, now we're going to towing.
We have 2, Quality Services Towing and Recovery LLC and Rick's Towing Service.
Quality is mainly the large, correct?
Yes.
are you satisfied that everything submitted is what we asked for? And when they're,
At this point, yes, they are not required to submit their certificate of insurance until after it is awarded. So I believe the wording states that they have 10 days, if I'm not mistaken, to submit that to us. But other than that,
yeah, and I would like to review this package next year before it goes out, if it goes out. And I spoke briefly with the sheriff. He's still going to continue to investigate or research what his department can do and whether or not this is necessary or not. So, I don't know, Sheriff, did you want to add anything to that?
No, just in the next year, then we'll just go ahead and look at if there's other options out there, or more options.
If we come up with something viable during the year, can we change during the middle of the year?
Not with the
So
contract.
Once you've awarded it, but, you know.
You just don't have to call them.
Me and Commissioner talked, is there really a reason for a contract for the towing, since there's no money changing hands? What is what exactly is this contract about?
That they'll show up when we
Yes.
call
Well, I
them.
mean, but I can do that with any record without a contract, so what is exactly the reason for having a contract?
Right, because we don't pay these records anything.
We don't pay them, they don't pay us, so what does a contract do?
The old reason, the reason we did this initially is because we had problems, you know, you had somebody who was up, if they weren't there, it was supposed to go to the next person. The next person might show up, then the person who was supposed to have been there would show up, and there was conflict, and it was causing a problem for the dispatchers at that point.
Yes, sir.
In the course of time, perhaps that's changed, and it's, as you're suggesting, it's time to review it. But that was the issue. It was that there was somebody up, you'd call them, they weren't there, and then it was just, according to the sheriff at that point, it was posing a problem. And that's why we went to the contract that way, and apparently it's worked fairly well, but it may be a better way to do it in the future. I won't argue that.
Well, I guess the real question is that why do we need a contract? And that's where,
Because in the past, like Commissioner Wally said, there was time, there was no record.
okay, well, I mean, you got one person to call, so where's,
No, before that.
no, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Right now, you have one person to call.
Well, at that point, what we did is we looked at the whole group and we awarded the contract, as opposed to, because in the past it had been, you know.
But I mean,
on
all you've asked them to do is provide you the statutory rate that they can charge, and that's set by law. So I mean, I'm having trouble understanding why we're into a contract
reason
where we
that-
don't pay anything and nobody pays us. We don't, you know,
A contract is not just for money, it's for other obligations, like showing up.
Right, and I believe
But I
in
don't
here,
think
it's
a lot of
not
that-
like response
Yeah.
time.
but I don't think a lot of that's in the RFP package. That's kind of my point. And then they didn't really respond to the RFP the way that we asked them to. And they don't seem to be, to me, they don't seem to be in compliance with what we requested.
Talking about Rick's.
No, more quality than Rick's. But I mean, to me, the bid forms were not completed as we instructed them to be completed.
Well, then we shouldn't accept them, and we ought to go out for bids again and tell them to fill it out right.
That's my issue with it.
Brenda, how did you feel about it?
So what they did was, rather than using our worksheet that had the fill in the blank, they provided a written proposal which answered everything, it just wasn't on our format. And so they provided,
Well, but in addition to that too, quality said, you know, we said to separate everything out. So theirs was less clear as to what they were doing and what that service was. And I mean, you know, we're trying to do a one-size-fits-all bid here for stuff, especially for semi-accidents or whatever, which may or may not apply. And I guess my question is if we're gonna have a contract, then who's monitoring that? Who's making sure that if this company bid that, hey, I'm gonna do this kind of cleanup for this number of dollars or their hours or whatever, who monitors that? Whose responsibility is that?
One thing, we haven't had the complaints that we had
That's right.
before. One of the main reasons was the prices were astronomical.
Oh, I
And
know,
that's
I'm sure there
the
was- I know there was
original
gouging
reason.
going on,
That's
you
the
know.
original reason that there was a contract, and that way this company would say, okay, this is the prices that if you dispatch us through this call, these are the prices we're gonna call. That's the contract, that's what it was for.
And back when the oil boom was going, the big rigs, there was days they had to wait 6-8 hours for a record to come out. Now they're there on the site. Because that oil company would say, I want my own record. That ties up to law enforcement, fire department.
I mean, there's policies can be put into force for that too.
That's why we went out
I
for
mean, I
bid.
don't care who does the towing, I'm gonna be honest with you, but I don't want these astronomical charges that there were before. This was the solution to that problem. And I don't wanna recreate the problem.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you. But I think there's still some root here that I don't know why we're the overseers of that when it's not our responsibility.
It is our responsibility.
Whose responsibility is it?
When we have a roadblock, when we have an accident.
On the non-consent towings, it's what are dispatched out of the sheriff's dispatch.
That's right.
And that's what this was for, was, okay, if it's a non-consent towing, these are the people.
What
I
this,
have no problem, if y'all want to do the same thing with the towing companies, this are the problems, this is the charges that we're going to have, they'll submit them all, they'll put them back on a rotation.
what we had before is we regularly had citizens showing up to Commissioners Court complaining that they had a tow and the rate was ridiculous. Or they had a tow where there shouldn't have been a tow. And the rate was ridiculous. What this has done is eliminated that. And I'm personally in favor of going forward with it as it is. If we need to take a look at it and research it and do something different, then we need to do that for the next budget. That's my opinion.
This has no budget impact.
No, I understand, but it is part of what our approval process that we've done annually at this point.
It's been rolled
There is
in
no
with the-
budget impact. You're absolutely correct.
I mean, I don't see any other record service, only one bid. It don't seem like it's anybody else knocking down the doors.
I don't disagree with that.
So how many more record service will we do in rotation? Who you gonna get?
I don't know. My question is why are we doing a contract when we don't need to do a contract? That's my.
That was, the answer was, is to keep the record companies from gouging the
And
individuals.
again, I say, whose
They were-
responsibility is that? That's the
What's
Department of
that?
Insurance's responsibility.
It's whose?
They're actually TDLR.
Nope, nobody was taking any kind of action. I mean, I wasn't here, this was before my time, before Jeffrey's time, you know, but I know what took place, and I know some of the citizens that were
I'm aware of
up in
that.
arms, because they were getting charged an astronomical charge for a 1-mile tow.
Yes, I'm well aware of that.
I think this contract just kind of keeps a thumb on whoever's doing the towing. I've been in the trucking business all my life, and I've been over a barrel many times by a record service with astronomical bids, $10,000, $20,000, and I had to pay it. So, I mean, you got to have somebody watching over them.
I'm just kind of like Commissioner Wiley, if we have to do it, let's do this, and then before next year, before the next process.
Well, before, I guess the real question is back to where is if Jim figures out something in 2 or 3 months, can we terminate this contract, Catherine, or are we stuck for a year?
I think we're stuck for a year unless they do something, they breach the contract in some way.
What does the contract language say in that regard? Do we have it?
Is there something missing here? Is there something that you want to implement that we're not knowing about?
I don't understand the contract, because to me, you could set a parameters for a permit process, and anybody that wants to fill these parameters and justify this basically reads the same as your contract. They can be issued a permit to tow in this county, and we can call it. It opens our options rather than limiting our options to one service or 2 services.
Do you put them
We
on?
have other services. We could use the same system, just like it is now, with some tweaking. Be specific in what we're doing with the contract. Since there's no monies, the contract to me doesn't make any difference. If you set out the parameters to tow here, and y'all address those as parameters, then anybody that wants to open a business, is in business, whatever, can come in here, say, I will follow these guidelines. They sign, agreeing to the same thing, and we issue them a permit to tow. If they violate any one of those things, their permit, they no longer tow here. It's pretty simple, and anybody that wants to be in business can be in business.
So
You are not shutting
So what are we
anybody
gonna
out.
do, what are we gonna do when we have 2 or 3 companies show up to do a tow and they're out there fighting and
No. I would have to run a rotation then. If I have multiple deals, I am gonna have to set up a rotation through my office to which one gets next. Okay, that would be on me. But we would not limit anybody that wants to either open a business or is in business in this county to do business here.
The only, I mean, I'm just going back to what I remember from before, is Commissioner Cordola has a company, I have a company. I'm up for next rotation, they call, I don't answer the phone.
You get skipped.
They call him because he's number 2. Then I see I have a missed call, I call back, and I'm on my way to respond. And then you've got the dispatcher, who all of a sudden I'm irritated and I'm giving that dispatcher what for, and that was the issue that we had before, and then we end up
I
with
can take
both of
care
them
of that.
showing up.
I can take care of that. That's not a problem. It can be written in that set of rules.
Now, here's the deal as far as, there's no difference in having a rotation like that than it is taking all the bids for materials and hauling.
That's what,
Because
y'all
you're
just
accepting-
took 3 companies
That's
Yeah.
if we,
for all of your
agreed
materials.
with it.
I'm
Yeah.
basically looking at the same thing.
Because
Why
we
limit
accept
my
the
options
bids does not mean we have
if
to
there's
change
people
it.
out there that want to do business?
Right, but I think their question is if we sign it,
I
then
wonder
we
why
can
they
terminate
didn't.
the contract.
My other
Then they turn in a bid.
question is, why didn't somebody
I
else
think-
bid?
To tell you the truth, talking to them, I think they're not happy with the system. And I don't know whether they should or shouldn't. But my deal is, I think every
To
person
me,
that
it just makes
pays taxes
so
and
much
stuff in this
sense.
county needs to have an equal opportunity to do business in this county. And I know there's more than one that have been put out of business. And I just assume try to help it.
Okay, well, they looked it up, so it says that termination A is without cause. This agreement may be terminated in whole or part without cause by either party upon 30 days written notice to the other party. So we have an out. If y'all want to award it, that's fine, I think, and then the sheriff, he can do something, and if he gets something done, then we can eliminate the contract.
Well, if we accept it as is, and then we get something else ironed out or set in, then we can terminate. They can still get on the rotation,
Oh, yes.
but what, my concern is, like what y'all were talking about a while ago, nobody else bid. I mean, if they don't want to do business with the county, or if they did want to do,
Well,
you'd
they
think they'd
did-
at least
they
submit a
did
bid.
They did bid early in the process, and then for whatever reason, they fell by the wayside. I don't know.
This year?
And I wasn't here then.
This
All
year
this
or
took
another
place.
year?
Prior years,
Prior
there was more bidders.
I know when the
Oh, yeah.
contract first started, there were multiple bids.
Yes.
They have fell
Yep.
by the wayside. That was before me. I have no idea what the causes were, but I just know that from my perspective, I think I have a duty to take care of the whole county, and I believe anything that we do needs to help the citizens and businesses in this county. And if I can find a way to do that through my office, I'm gonna try to do it.
I don't disagree with that.
Neither.
What I would say is that initially, when we got all the different bids, I can't recall what they all were, but there were certain requirements as far as equipment, your ability to respond, and through that, some folks were eliminated, and we did the bid with the one that the feeling was could respond the most. I can't recall the second year exactly how many there were, but there were still several. But the performance of, according to the sheriff at that point, that it had all worked a lot better, and it was his recommendation that we go forward with where we were, and Commissioners Court took that into consideration whenever we approved it. If we can renew it, and then if there is a better process, for the community, for the citizens, if we can control the prices, and if, with your leadership, you can handle what was the difficulties with dispatch in the past, then I don't have a problem with that. But I think that we either need to, at this point, renew this contract, understanding that we do have the ability to get out of it, or if we can modify it to where we can look at December the 31st and decide whether to renew it there. But if we have the ability at any given time to give them notice and break the contract, then let's do it. But
Is there a response time in there?
There is 30, I believe it's 30 minutes.
excuse me, I hate to leave you with this conversation.
There are several bid specs that they must agree to, one of them being response time. And this still, oh, where did Commissioner Wiley go? I missed him. But it does also talk about the equipment that's required. Response time will be no less than 30 minutes unless delayed by adverse weather conditions, and the sheriff's office will be notified of the delay and kept informed of the anticipated time of arrival. Must agree to be available upon on-call 24 hours a day, every day of the year, including holidays, and to accept all calls from the sheriff's office. Must agree to have a method of tracking all vehicles towed and stored for the Wilson County Sheriff's Office.
And am I remembering right, too, that they have to go online and fill out some stuff for the state?
Yes.
And at least the first year, that was, difficult, and the auditor's office kind of had to teach everybody how to do that. And of course, some don't like to do that.
I don't have a problem if the sheriff wants to take this on and do this rotation. That's what I'm
I
understanding.
kind
You're-
of agree with
you're-
y'all's assessment already. Renew this one.
Would you,
We will look into it. If I can come up with an option that works, y'all good with it, we'll proceed with that in the future.
just more or less get everybody to agree to the terms that we've got laid out here? And if they agree to them, they'll be on a rotation.
I just don't understand why they didn't put in a bid, because
That's me.
it was put in the public paper, it was put public notice for the bids, and nobody
But
turned
we
in a
also had a
bid.
lot of material, or a couple of material bidders that didn't bid material either, so.
Well, I make a motion that we go forward with the current contract, understanding with the caveat that when the sheriff comes up with a program that he is satisfied with, that we go back and take a look at it.
I'll second it.
Motion by Commissioner Wiley, second by Commissioner Fall, that we accept the towing bids. I guess that's it. We can look at that because there's language in there to, if we need to adjust anything, we can. So is there any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so we've got the towing done and for now. Okay, now we're going to 8D, lawn maintenance services.
Yes, so you also have the bid tabulation. We had three vendors who submitted proposals. Above All Construction, Bear Landscaping, and GM Lawn Care. After it was said and done, and I think when we were discussing whether or not to accept, we talked about the possibility of the current vendor subcontracting to one of the vendors who provided a proposal. But that's no longer up for consideration anyway, because the third vendor, Bear Landscaping, actually came in as low bid and passed the reference checks as well. So they came in at $1,250 bi-weekly, and that's Bear Landscaping. So I just wanted to provide you that information as well, should you want to consider best and lowest, that's where.
Bear Landscaping, the one that's doing it now.
No, sir, it's Above All Construction, which is subcontracting GM Lawn Services.
I've dealt with them on a personal basis, and they're dependable and they're good.
GM,
Bear Lawn Service.
Bear, yes,
oh, Bear, okay.
yes.
I'll make a motion to approve Bear Landscaping for the landscaping contract
I'm
for
gonna
the
second.
lawn maintenance services.
I did want to
Motion by
tell you,
Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Wiley, we accept Bear Landscaping.
yes, and
as
I
a
did
bid
want
for
to
the lawn
just tell
maintenance?
you what the price difference was. GM Lawn Service was high bid at $1,500, Above All Construction was $1,400, and Bear Landscaping was $1,250 per biweekly service.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Wiley. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we've got it all laid out. Okay. Who's here for Jalen? I guess I will be.
Well, you can speak
Okay,
on this part.
agenda item number 9, Richard L. Jackson County Judge Jalen Boterford, HR Specialist, discuss and take action on removing the 80-hour vacation cap for employees. And what was discussed, or what Jalen's brought up, is we have 40-hour maximum that you can be paid for when you extend. And we have difficulty at the jail right now. Those people can't take their vacation. They're working above and beyond the call of duty because we're short-staffed there. They can't take their vacation, and we don't want them to lose it because they can't carry over 80 hours. So why not just do away with the 80-hour cap? Because they're gonna have to take it up sometime or lose it before they terminate or retire or whatever. And they can only get paid for 40 hours if they
That's the way it is
leave,
now.
or when they leave.
Right, if we didn't have the payout of only 40, then the 80-hour cap would make sense. But if you have both of them, it doesn't make any sense to do that because they're only going to get paid out 40 at the time of departure anyway.
I guess my only I don't have a problem with that. My only question is, based on what we saw before at the sheriff's office, is somebody is getting ready to quit and they take a 2-month vacation at the end. How do we deal with that?
Okay, now this is a question that was brought up, and yes, that can happen. But it's up to the department head, official, or whoever to keep track of their vacation of their employees. And it's gonna be a difficult thing for the sheriff because, he can't let some of the people go because he'd be short-staffed.
No,
It's gonna be a hard deal for him. But anybody else, y'all are all in charge of your employees, so, if you see that they're building up vacation, ask them to take vacation or instruct them to take vacation.
And the other, from a budget perspective, Commissioner Wiley, if that happens, the elected or department head knows that they are not able to hire that person's replacement until that employee comes off of the payroll. So if they were to take the last 2 weeks off for vacation because they weren't able to, well, the sheriff or anyone would not be able to replace that person until they completed the.
It puts the sheriff, although I'm sure he can handle it, it puts the sheriff in a kind of a precarious position with an employee who's been faithful, done their job. But I understand what you're saying. That's the only
here's
question
the-
I have about it. Past that, I don't.
For instance, like some people know that their last day is, okay, what's the difference in scheduling the last 2 weeks that they're gonna work? Is vacation. Instead of scheduling it in the summertime or whatever it might be, schedule, okay, I'm gonna terminate on December the 31st. Okay, I'm gonna take the last 2 weeks in December off. You can put it up there. There's nothing,
But I think it goes back to the sum that had accumulated significantly
Yes.
more than 2 weeks of time off.
Might be 2 months.
Yeah. And I agree with him from that perspective. And I guess I'm okay,
mean,
since
it's-
the policy says you're not going to get paid for more than 40, but if they had accumulated 2 months.
Well, that's the department or the official.
I-
If you let your employee do that, well then, okay, suck it up and we're gonna work shorthanded because I let this guy accumulate 160 hours of vacation or 240 hours of
The
vacation.
only way to alleviate that, Commissioner Martin, is to put a policy in place that states you can only use up to 2 weeks before your last day of employment.
I disagree with anything. If you're gonna be working, you're eligible to take vacation on any day you're there. In the last day, that could be a vacation day too.
The last,
Just because we're being nitpicking here, this is going back to, if you're an official or a department head, control your employees.
obviously, the problem that we've had in the past with the sheriff's department is that there's 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Typically, we've been a little shorthanded, and so therefore, people who wanted to get off couldn't get off. The problem that I see is the potential of, down the road, I'm a deputy. Wouldn't be a very good one, but a deputy. I don't want you to say anything. But, and I decide to leave, and I've got all of this vacation time, and I can't take it. And I leave, and I got another job. What does that do to the morale of all the other people that have vacation accumulated? And so I don't want to say no. I mean, I understand the situation. I'm just looking down the road and saying, we have the potential of a problem until we get to the point to where the sheriff's department is staffed at a level to where that isn't an issue. And I don't know when that will be. Personally, it's fine as far as, I think everyone other than the sheriff's department ought to be okay with it.
But they're not the only ones, though.
Really?
I will tell you that, yes.
Okay.
Who else is it?
Well, we just had a situation like this in Leanne's office for an employee, Cindy Stafford. She had over 80 hours at the time of her letter of resignation as well. So it's your longer tenured employees who have not been able to take vacation, I guess, for whatever reason.
She could have taken off.
Okay, do
I
we
don't
need
know.
more employees or what's?
A lot of ours was because of COVID, with all we had to do with COVID. And she worked as hard as she could to use up comp time or to not go over 40 hours. And we had all those clinics. We were working 10, 12-hour days.
And
And so that left, all the other work that had to be done. And so then she spent, June and July trying to catch up on all the other normal stuff that had been put off from, January till May, that she was not able to do.
Judge,
But anyway, it's what's done is done.
Judge, it seems to me that if we're going to go forward with this, that's saying that you're not going to lose your vacation, that we ought to, at the same time, put a cap that says, whenever you leave, if you've accumulated more than a month's worth of vacation, that's lost. That we'll
Can't
give
take their
you,
vacation.
It's already there, 40 hours.
what?
You can only leave with 40 hours.
No, you can only get paid for 40 hours.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
I
it.
understand, but
But that doesn't
would
mean that you.
change, so you'd have to be, because it has to be clear from the beginning that if you're not gonna lose your vacation, then we need to let them know that when you leave, you're only gonna get 40, or you increase
should
that.
know that.
Or you increase that to 80, but the point is that if you got all this accumulated and you're never gonna be able to take it,
Okay, now it could be a staffing problem.
Could be.
And it could be, okay, like I said, you're the department head, you're the official. Take charge of your deals, let them off. You're either gonna suck it up when they leave, or you're gonna have to suck it up and let them take vacation. But we allow vacation here in Wilson County, so let them take it. If it puts you in a bind, you're either short-staffed or something else is happening.
There's two issues. One, you have a motivational issue, if that's the right term for it, because you've got people who can't get all their vacation time in a year. So even if it's 80 hours instead of 40, they can't get it in. And so,
Why can't they get it in?
well, maybe because of scheduling, just like we've talked before.
Then the department head or the official needs to get in there and figure out what they can do to get this person off. If we don't have enough people, then that's something we need to approach in Commissioner's Court. If not, get your pencil out, sharpen it up, and let's let these people have off. That's my opinion.
We just need, I don't disagree, we just need to make it clear that if we're going to do that, that they absolutely understand that upon termination of their employment, either voluntary or not voluntary, with the county, that they will not be able to take more than 80 hours with them.
40 hours.
40. That's already set.
That's already set. They only get
Yes,
paid.
All we're doing is lifting,
saying
or
by-
trying to
by-
do is lift the 80-hour cap that nobody can save more than 80 hours, and it's hurting the corrections officers because they're not able to take off. And hopefully, we'll be fully staffed there one of these days where they can.
But I think what Commissioner Wiley, correct me if I'm wrong, what you're stating is from the date of their letter of resignation to their last date of employment, you're saying they cannot, you're recommending they would not take more than 2 weeks of vacation off, plus get their 40 hours paid out if they had 120 hours available.
Yep. But whatever we do, it needs to be made absolutely perfectly clear that this is not an open check for 200 hours of vacation upon termination of their relationship.
Okay, now, here's my deal, that what y'all are talking about is take responsibility for your office. Step up and say, okay, you're getting too much vacation time, take some. We don't have to have it in a policy. Y'all just need to I've got one person, so
Yeah, you
really,
kind of do have to have something in the policy.
what's that?
You kind of do have to have something in the policy, otherwise we'll get in trouble. But, I think Larry's suggestion is well at hand, and I think probably the Personnel Committee should get together and take a look at that and look at the policy. I think we're very generous here, have been in the past. I don't think we're quite attuned with what other counties and other entities of our size offer their employees. And it is particularly a problem in law enforcement. It is everywhere. It's not, and that's really, to me, the big issue. I mean, more often than not, it's over there just because of the hours of schedule, the turnover, those kind of things. And so it is a little bit unique in that respect, so. So I'll make a motion to remove the 80-hour vacation cap for employees.
So, and does that mean it's going to be unlimited?
No, it doesn't. We're gonna put the Personnel Committee together to look at it. But if we don't do something now, because the end of the year is coming up, then,
Then a bunch of jailers are gonna be losing some time.
yeah.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that at all. And maybe we,
And a temporary removal of it today doesn't mean you can't put it back next week.
No, I agree.
So, at least, or the 1st of October. So at least it will give me that necessary this year, and then we can address it in the future.
well, and what we probably ought to do that, take it to 80, but put a cap. A cap at 200 hours or whatever the number is, somehow, so it just doesn't accumulate.
If
So-
we're gonna, let's rewrite that policy, and I don't know about a cap. Let's put some responsibility on the official,
Yeah.
okay? Give them some leeway to control the amount of vacation in their office.
I believe our handbook has some wording as such.
Everybody knows, and you know, if you got an employee that's getting, weeks and weeks of vacation built up, you should be aware of it.
But in a lot of instances, most of these supervisors are elected officials. And so I'm sitting here saying, okay, I know I'm not going to run after this next term, so I'll let somebody else deal with it.
Okay, now, here's the deal. If you're letting them build up and it's getting to the end and then they're gonna leave, don't cry because I haven't got somebody to work there, because you're the one that let them do it.
Or it slides through and the elected official leaves, and because nothing was done,
Somebody's gonna replace you if
Well,
you're
I
not coming
understand.
back, so then let them start working on it.
but if I'm the new elected official and I've got a lot of people, is the first thing I want to do irritate everybody that works in my department. I mean, it's sort of like a dog chasing its tail.
And Judge Jackson and I actually talked about another situation that's in the same context, about specifically jailers and deputies who are working their number of set hours. Let's say they work 86 hours in 8 days, and they had requested 2 days of vacation. It's been the practice that they've been not being paid for the 16 hours of vacation, or 24 hours of vacation, because they're on 12-hour shifts, because they had already met their number of hours in those 8 days. That's another reason why their vacation hours never, were not being decreased, because I believe in the payroll department, they were automatically just cutting them off at the 86 hours because they had already met their number of met hours. But I think in talking to the judge, if an employee is requesting those 2 days, regardless of whether or not they met their hours, that is their earned payable time, and they should get paid for those 2 days, deducting it from their vacation. And the judge agreed, and so we're working on a addendum to the employee handbook that states that, so that it is clear. So maybe when we have a meeting regarding this, that can all be discussed at the same time and put into one addendum.
I have a motion on the
We
floor.
got a motion on the floor.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Wiley, that we, let's see, remove the 80-hour vacation cap. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so we have, for time being, removed the vacation cap until we come up with something different. Okay, agenda item number 10, Richard L. Jackson County Judge, discuss and take action on a letter of support for Saw's application number 13098. Okay, what this is a few years ago, I don't know if y'all, Paul and Larry, remember it, we did a letter of support for, was it Saw's, or was it the River Authority, to be sure all of the water that is affluent from, or coming from Bear County down the San Antonio River, makes it to, there's certain number of cubic or acre feet, makes it to the San Antonio Bay. Because at one time, GBRA wanted to take so much water from right there where the Guadalupe runs into the San Antonio, or the San Antonio River runs into the Guadalupe, take so much water out of that. And we did a resolution opposing them taking water out of it. And this is more or less the same thing, is we're supporting 50,000 acre feet of water that flows in the San Antonio River to be sure it makes it to San Antonio Bay. This is called beds and banks.
And what does it require us to do?
What's that?
What does it require us to do?
All it is we're supporting, sending a letter of support,
Oh,
saying that we
okay.
want to be sure what water they put in the San Antonio River
Okay.
makes it all the way to the San
We're
Antonio
not going to
Bay.
go do something and block
It's,
it.
it's not really an action item other than a letter of support.
Okay.
And I'm not going to say what kind of water they're putting in up there, but they want to be sure it makes it all the way to San Antonio Bay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Fowle,
Second.
second by Commissioner Martin. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So let's see if we can get the water all the way down there.
Who wants to be in charge of that?
I don't know if you want this either, or
It's
get it,
fine.
or get a copy, and I'll get it to Genevieve where she can get it to him.
That's fine. Let me get a copy.
Okay.
Float down the river, is that?
I'm not sure I understand.
Okay. Agenda item 11, Richard L. Jackson County Judge, discuss and take action on contracts for Camino Real rental properties. We have been taking action every year in Commissioner's Court to support or use our in-kind contributions, but we haven't been okay in the contracts. So we were behind since 2019. We haven't signed a contract since then. They brought it to my attention, so I thought we need to approve the contracts that we're having with them on, it's all taken care of. They pay us for the building at 1327 B Street, or 3rd Street, and we have an in-kind contribution for the 1325 building and the other building over by.
So everything, all the monies or whatever, or where they should be?
Everything's exchanged, just we
We just
haven't
need to
signed a
make it legal.
contract. We haven't had a contract.
Okay.
Why did the contract never get signed?
It never got, they usually submit it to us and it hadn't gets,
Just
for that, and we just, it's slipped by us.
No offense, but when we.
I mean, it has to come through Commissioner's Court, and it hasn't come through Commissioner's Court since 2019.
When we
contracts.
set up our grants management department, you may remember that I made the unfavorable suggestion that
Thank
we
you.
also have it be a contracts management, because we do not have one place in the county that basically follows every contract that we sign. If you're having work done in your precinct and we sign a contract for it, well, you're watching it and you know when it ends and if it needs to be renewed and things like that. But we don't have a general, not that I'm trying to give anybody any extra work, but I'm surprised with these people because they are usually very, very on top of everything.
Usually when they call us and ask to be on the agenda for the in-kind contributions and all that other, they follow through with everything else. They didn't this last year.
I thought when the lady came and talked, she didn't,
What's that?
when that woman came and talked in Commissioner's Court recently, she didn't say the contracts are gonna be removed. I'll look back at my notes, but I thought,
But this is not Casa, this is Camino Real
I
contract.
know who you're talking about.
So what do we need? Just sign a motion to
Okay, this
sign
is just a
contract?
motion to, if y'all want to take have the contracts came through
Just to
you,
make us legal.
Catherine?
Yeah, in the past they
Okay.
have.
Did you get copies of them this time?
No,
Okay. And it's the same contracts we've had.
Do you want to come back to that while council
Give her time to review.
peruses it a little bit?
Okay, we can go to the next one. Well, she's doing that. Agenda item 12, Richard L. Jackson County Judge, Brenda Trevino County Auditor, discuss and possible action on Constable Precinct 4 exceeding budget for vehicle maintenance.
So on July 15th, I received an invoice in my office from Southwest Public Safety for $7,533.08 for work that was authorized by Constable Precinct 4 Jerry Talley. When I looked before approving the invoice to see if he had this money available in his budget, he actually had already exceeded his budget because he had already spent $3,969.07 up until this point. So he was already over budget in vehicle maintenance by $469. So I called Constable Talley to ask if this was approved in court, because I didn't remember coming back to court. He stated no. He stated the vehicle needed it, and that's why he made the decision to approve the purchase. So I made the decision not to approve the invoice until I brought it to Commissioners Court for review and determination on who's going to pay for it. I did talk to our county attorney, Tom Caldwell, who then had a meeting with Constable Talley to explain the severity of this, because it is, the elected official knowingly and willingly exceeded a budgeted line item. So the recommendation to the court is, and this is the invoice if you wanted to pass it around, the recommendation to the court is that we use the remaining funds in his current budget, which are $3,635.58, which is made up of a line item for fuel and a line item for small equipment. And then ask the court to approve the difference from our reserve for unexpected expenses. However, the difference being deducted from Constable Talley's fiscal 2022 budget, once that amount is determined after September 30th.
Will that give him sufficient funds to do his duties?
It would, it would decrease his vehicle maintenance line item significantly. That does not include fuel. That is basically outfitting or whatever it is. I guess my concern with that vehicle is all of the stuff that was replaced or taken off. I don't know what happened to that stuff, if it was just not usable, could we not sell it, where are those parts? I mean, those are the types of questions that I had and didn't really get a response. So that's why I leave it up to the court to decide how you want to proceed. But no, to answer your question, I mean, it will significantly reduce his budget. If this one is 7533, so he's going to be short about $4,000, $3,600. So that would come off of what is being proposed in this budget here.
So why did he do this?
He got a different vehicle.
He did it, was it year before last also?
One
Exceeded his
of his
budget.
comments was that he did it 2 years ago prior to me being here.
Same scenario? So this is not the first time?
No,
Not that I'm aware of.
and you got a budget, everybody's got a budget.
Yep.
And I think that the thing that I was trying to get Constable Talley to understand is that not that the court or I wouldn't have approved getting what he needed, but there was a process to take place. It's approaching me then to approach the court requesting funds from our contingency to do it, but not after the fact. And I think that's where we're
But
at.
if everybody just decided when they want something, just go
Right.
buy it, and don't stick with the budget.
And back again, based on prior history, will he have sufficient funds for fuel?
I believe, are you pulling it up right
Yeah,
there,
that's,
Gary?
Well, what I don't want to do,
Index it.
I understand he was wrong. I understand it needs to be corrected. I just want to make certain that he's got what he needs.
So yes,
Basic.
he'll have a budget for fuel. It'll come off of, he won't have anything for vehicle maintenance because there's $2,000 budgeted in there now. And then we'll have to take some off of his small equipment line item as well. That's the only, by adjusting his new budget is the only way that I can see that there's some consequence to this situation.
I don't disagree with that. He needs to understand how it works, and I think if he'd gone through normal channels, we might have questioned it, but we probably would have approved it.
Want that back?
Show total disregard for
Yes.
Commissioners Court.
Or lack of
Judge
understanding.
can have it, I've got the original.
Total disregard.
This is the second time we understood more than-
We got by the last time.
Yeah, there certainly needs to be some comment.
So if you agree to that recommendation, what will happen is the second court in October, once all expenses are completed for this fiscal year, I'll come back to the court to request a budget amendment to the new budget that you just approved to modify his budget.
I'll make a motion to approve payment of the bill for Constable Precinct 4 from the contingency fund and to remove any balance after the end of the fiscal year on that from his 2021, 2022 budget.
Second,
Who's second?
second.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Perdola, that whatever he said. Did you get it all down, Eva?
I'll reword it for you, Eva.
I think I got everything that was
Yeah,
important
Okay.
in there.
Did y'all understand the motion?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. That carries. Thank you. Okay, we'll move into agenda item 13, Richard L. Jackson County Judge, discuss and take action on ordering the 2021 constitutional amendment special election, and this is the order of a special election. Election is hereby ordered to be held November the 2nd, 2021, for the purpose of constitutional amendment election. So we have to do that every year. We should have done it about, I don't know how many days ago, but we're just not getting to it.
I make a motion, we go forward.
Motion by, it was not done through Commissioner's Court, it was just done, the county judge signed it and went on, but they got it to where it goes through Commissioner's Court now. Motion by Commissioner Wiley, second by Commissioner Fowle, that we order the special election. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, agenda item 14, Gary Martin, Commissioner Precinct 1. Discuss and take possible action on joining TIPS, the Interlocal Purchasing System.
Well, we're obtaining some prices on the roofing. One of the contractors that provided us the price is a member of this system, and it's called the Interlocal Purchasing System. And so Ms. Trevino did some investigation into it. This is similar to the Buy Board or Smart Buy, and so I'll let her expand on it.
Yeah, so this is, the difference between Buy Board and Texas Smart Buy is that this is a national purchasing co-op. It is specifically designed for schools, government entities, and nonprofit organizations. So it just gives, there is no fee for membership. I did have Tom Caldwell review the interlocal agreement as well. And I believe you saw that there was no question as to, or any reason why we shouldn't. And it's in order to become a member, I have to submit the interlocal agreement that basically gives us the authority to use their, you can pass that, use their wide array of vendors, and it's just another opportunity, since there is no fee, there's no cost to the county to join, and it just gives us more opportunity to have vendors at the best pricing. The way the process works here is if a potential contract is negotiated or in place, then the county submits the proposal to TIPS, and their legal team reviews it to make sure that we are getting the best pricing as agreed upon between them, between TIPS and the vendor. And then we get the okay from TIPS that says, yes, this is good to go, they're not overcharging you or whatever. So it takes the legwork off of the county, basically. So,
I've talked with them before in the past. We never did anything, but I did a couple of years ago.
oh, okay. Yes, and I did speak, we do have a local representative out of San Antonio. His name is Javier Farias. So because they're nationwide, they've got reps all over the place, and I had a good conversation with him. He my biggest concern was to make sure that this was in compliance with our statutory requirement of purchasing, and he seemed very versed and knowledgeable in that, so it does relieve the purchasing obligation or going out for proposal for anything greater than $50,000.
So this is similar to the buy board?
It is?
Yes.
Okay.
give
What
us
did you
another
sell that
option.
stuff on the other day?
I sold that on Gov Deals.
Oh,
Okay.
his auction, yeah.
And
And Paul used Purple Wave and got some money for some of his stuff too. So our online auctions seem to be working really well.
Sheriff
Okay.
did well on his vehicles last week, too. I make a motion to join TIPS, the interlocal purchasing system.
Well, I had copies for y'all, I'm sorry. You can take one just for your reference.
There's only 2 left. The other ones are gonna be useful. Okay, motion by Commissioner Martin,
There's the,
second by Commissioner File, that we join TIPS, the interlocal purchasing system. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So that motion carries.
bring me an overcoat next time. Or a pair of gloves.
I don't know what it said on it.
Hands are cold.
I guess the thermostat's like over there.
No. No, that was
Yeah, mine too.
Missed it by that much.
yeah.
Who gets this? You or Eva?
I believe Miss Eva will need a copy of it.
Really?
Thank you. Okay, agenda item 15, Richard L. Jackson County Judge, Michelle Mota, Grants Manager. 15A, discuss and approve the renewal of the VINE service agreement for the statewide automated victim notification service, SAVINS, for SAVNS, for year 21 and 22.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners, Sheriff, Eva. This is just the software update for the contract renewal that you did last court for the statewide automated notification system. They need their own agreement signed. This is with the vendor Appriss that has been working with the Office of the Attorney General. So it just needs to be approved and signed.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Motion?
I'll make a motion to renew the Vine service agreement for the statewide automated victim notification service for 21-22.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Perdola, that we approve the renewal of the contract. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
So there's a copy for me and a copy for you.
What's that?
There's a copy for me and a copy.
Okay. Which one do you want? You want both of them? There, you can have both of them. Thank you.
It's only 75.
Okay. Whenever you get through, Catherine, holler.
Okay, I'm through.
Okay. Okay, we're going to go back to agenda item 11. Okay, Richard L. Jackson County Judge discuss and take action on contracts for Camino Real rental properties. Is there,
The original agreement, which they're extending, we wrote, and so it's exactly what we asked them to do before. And under the agreement, they had an obligation each year to notify us of their desire for an extension. And apparently didn't, but I guess everything's gone along Okay, so I think this is fine. It extends it from today to August 31, 2024, which is 3 years. And we had said that we wanted them to extend it only 1 year at a time. But as fast as time is moving, maybe it's not unreasonable to,
Well, I don't think they're going anywhere, so,
No, and we have to have them.
right.
and I think they've been good tenants from the standpoint, a lot of the discussion we had was, which we put in the contract, was when this breaks, they pay for it, when this breaks, we pay for it.
With that information, Judge, I make a motion that we approve the contract for Camino Real.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wiley, second by Commissioner Martin, that we approve the contracts for Camino Real. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, good. Okay, now that we've got that done, we can get into agenda item number 16. Leanne Hoshek, EMC, 16A, Wilson County Collection Event, Saturday, 9/18/2021.
We had put out flyers, oh gosh, it's been several weeks back already. Email, Facebook, INFO, and San Antonio River Authority puts it in the Wilson County News as well. They take care of that.
And they send out a postcard.
And the postcards, yes. Yeah, so everybody should have gotten postcards. So basically, it's just a reminder. And this time, it's gonna be in a centralized location. In the past, we used to have them at the various precincts. But this time, it's gonna be at the, used to be a show barn.
Event Center?
Expo Center.
No, not event center. Expo Center. I can't get
That
out of
one
the
over
habit
there.
of calling it, yeah. The one on 97 that way.
I know it's too late. Would you please let them know that that is not the
did.
correct name going forward? Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
I did. I
Um,
did.
Commissioner File assured me that there would be plenty of room for vehicles. That was the concern that I had.
Plenty of room.
I like the idea of having it at the event center. That's relatively centralized.
Yes.
The last one at Commissioner Fowles' yard, the traffic was horrendous.
Oh, and the last one I had, it was
Horrible traffic.
a mile up 123 headed south and about a half a mile coming north. And they're meeting at the intersection, and there were disputes. They ended up having to have a deputy there because I've been sitting here forever and you just pulled up.
He had
The line's back here.
He had the same issue last time we had one in Polk.
I remember even the one, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago at your yard, when they first started, it wasn't as busy, but it was, still the traffic was, getting in and out of there was a pain in the neck, yeah.
Well, what y'all have to remember is we missed 2 events because of sitting around for
So there may be a
year-
lot.
year or two, so.
So,
It's
do we,
gonna take us a while to catch up.
sorry, do we need to each commit 2 people like we've done in the past?
2 or more.
At least, because typically it's y'all's guys that work the tire
And before,
recycling.
we always rotated each precinct. So now if it's gonna be centrally, who's gonna be in charge? Who they gonna be coming to contacting? Is my question. You know, I was in charge last time. So who's it fall on this time? Is it me or one of the other
Well,
commissioners?
if we go on the if we would have continued the rotation, it would be precinct 3,
Okay.
yeah.
But you did a really good job.
All in favor of letting him do it
Yeah,
again?
I'm thinking,
You want to be full-time?
Bring the tacos.
I can do that.
But we need at least 2 or more people.
I've got 2 committed.
Yeah, I do too.
You know, that means I'm gonna have 5 of mine, so, I mean, it takes that many people. It takes as many as possible.
Keep things running.
And there's usually lots of tires, and so it's just, it gets hot up in there.
Yeah,
And you're gonna need,
We had how many guys down there on the tires? 4 or 5
get
guys?
2 trailers, they're bringing 2 trailers.
Had one guy pass out.
One of your guys passed out twice.
So the tire deal is a big deal.
And I got ESD 5, they're supposed to come and help do the parking. Line up the vehicles, which would help us.
I've got 2 guys that shouldn't pass out. We'll see.
It
And
was,
the-
it was
The
hot.
problem last time was one of the vendors, they were there till 10 o'clock at night. And I had to keep a guy there.
What was there, it was about the paint, wasn't it?
It was the chemicals, the paint, all the chemicals,
They're always late.
and this was the worst.
Well, it was a different vendor.
Yes.
Than used in the past. So I think they learned their lesson.
I don't know.
And then Friday, they wanted to set up phones Friday. You
Yep.
need help with that?
I'll get that taken care of. Sheriff will probably come by Friday and pick up that forklift from the shop.
I'll be there, whatever, since it's my turn in the barrel, whatever you need.
I mean, I'll bring the loader and forks. We need that also.
So the next time it'd be Commissioner Wiley.
I guess.
Maybe next time it'll be out at the collection facility?
Judge, it just ain't gonna work
It ain't gonna work?
because the county road, you're blocking that traffic.
Yeah, you have the same problem there that you had at his yard,
And the other thing is you're gonna have people trying to come.
Trying to go
use
in,
the collection
yes.
facility and get in that line of traffic and.
It's just not gonna work.
Well, it'd be a little different than my yard because 310 doesn't really have any traffic. There's a limited number of citizens on that road. So it's considerably different than being on 97 or 123
But
or,
if you're going there to dump trash versus collection, you know, that traffic line,
well, that day it's, everything is,
you know.
everything's a line. Nobody gets to go to the front.
This way it'd be different.
But this would be a perfect facility if it handles all the traffic.
You can
We're
put,
fixing to find out.
Yes, sir.
you can put 300 cars on that east side.
Sounds good. Of course, you're going to have people coming from both ways.
No. They're gonna be coming in one gate, coming out the other.
I know, but they're going to be coming down 97 east and west.
Sure.
We did it for our clinics. No problem.
Just like we do for the
100 people an hour.
Sounds
the
good.
shots and
Vaccination clinics and
and
the
that
food drive.
Food drive. It's basically gonna be set up just like the food drive.
It worked well
Yes.
for both of those events.
Sounds great.
Okay. We got that horse all put down now? We're gonna go to 16B, utility permit, 16B1, permit number 653, Sutherland Springs Water Supply Corporation, Precinct 3, Post Oak Road, review and approve. And let's see, can we do all of these?
I think so.
Okay, and then permit number 2, permit number 16B2, permit number 654, Silver Springs Water Supply Corporation, Precinct 3, Post Oak Road, review and approve. And 16B3, permit number 655, Silver Springs Water Supply Corporation, Precinct 3, Post Oak Road, review and approve. Okay,
I make a motion that we approve permit number 653, 654, 655 with SS Water Supply Corporation, Precinct 3 on Post Oak Road.
I'll second that.
motion by Commissioner Perdola, second by Commissioner Wiley, that we approve permit number 653, 654, and 655. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So we've got those. Okay. Thank you.
This is for 3 of them.
I don't know which one. Okay, now moving right along to 16C, pipeline crossing permit number 123, Magnolia Oil and Gas, Precinct 2, County Road 262, review and approve. Where's this at, Paul?
Where, close to the county line, off of 230 and 262. New well they drill.
Okay. Did it make a well?
They're trying,
Just crossing under the county road.
yes, they're boring across to make a flow line going to a transfer station. I'll make a motion, Gary, we approve.
Motion by Commissioner Fowle,
Second.
second by Commissioner Perdola. We approve permit number 123.
No, just one.
What's it?
Oh, 262.
No, permit number 123.
Right.
Okay, 123, excuse me. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? This permit number 123 is passed. Okay. D, non-standard plants variances. D1, 839 Shady Oak Lane, Precinct 4, F&S Custom Homes LLC, discuss and take action.
Another lot being subdivided.
Yes, this is in Wood Valley, and they own a lot, and they are splitting this one into 2. Let's see. This was a lot that had a storage building that straddled the property line between them and the adjoining owner in the back, and they have since removed the portion of that building that's on their property. They've met all the requirements with water and electric, and it was given a favorable recommendation by the committee.
I make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Wiley, second by Commissioner Fowle. We approve the variance on 839 Shady Grove Lane. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Now we've got 16D2, 619 Bent Bow Trail, Precinct 3, Lindsay. Discuss and take action on correction of acreage amounts typed in the WCDRC, Wilson County, what is,
Wilson County
Hey.
Development Review Committee?
That's it.
Okay. Minutes from a portion of this application approved in Commissioners Court 12/14/2020.
Okay, so the document that gets filed on these non-standard plat variances includes a portion of the minutes from the meeting in which the committee reviewed it and gave it a recommendation. And when we typed the minutes, we typed the wrong acreages. There were 2 survey plats in there, a preliminary and a final. And the minutes, the acreages were taken off the wrong survey plat. So it's just to correct the acreages. And we'll refile that.
So it's just a correction.
Okay,
It's
so
just a correction, yeah.
I make a motion that we approve it, Judge.
motion by Commissioner Fowle,
Second.
second by Commissioner Perdola. We approve the change. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. And that's it for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to agenda item number 17, Eva S. Martinez, County Clerk, minutes.
Yes, sir, I have handed those out, and they have been properly reviewed.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
I just got one change before we do this. Motion by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Perdola. On the prayer, which is not an agenda item, that was Adam Knapp, pastor, instead of Kelly Conkleton. You know, can you change that later? Okay. With that change, I'll ask for a vote. And this is on August the 9th. Is there any more questions? Changes? Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We have the minutes approved. If I sign the last page, you can just print the front page out?
I'm not cold, but I'm on the edge of it. Must have had a hot cord on Friday or something.
Okay. Agenda item 18, Christina Moots, Interim County Treasurer, financial reports.
Jim's out there rubbing his hands in it. He's cold too.
They June and July.
Thank you.
Frozen and snow.
This is the opposite. If you can't stand the
Eva's
heat, get out of
copies
the
are
kitchen.
signed, and here are your copies to
Can't
keep.
stand the cold
Thank
without
you.
the courtroom.
I'm gonna eventually grab these for y'all. There you go.
Frozen.
They're frozen.
Thank you, ma'am.
We're getting closer and closer.
We all this is almost complete as well. There's just a few things, but other than that, June, July.
Wow,
Yeah, we're almost,
that means you'll be caught up.
yes, big club stuff.
Wish I could say that.
Yeah, and I both.
Girls, but I don't know if I can bring them your direction to help you out. Commissioner.
Thank you for the offer.
Well, yeah.
Much
try at least.
appreciated, much appreciated. We're
But
getting there, we're working on it.
awesome.
My problem is that I get as much accumulating as
The reports are pretty close.
a lot of stuff is stopping.
That's before the, layout.
And people are asking me, well, when are you,
You'll
can you
notice
give
in
me a date
July,
when you're
though, I
gonna be
don't
over here?
have
doing this?" And I'm like, no.
FIC report attached, but that will be
They don't
coming to
understand that you
with
can't
this
wait
next,
without
the
that.
August one.
You can, but you just create dust.
And they don't care.
Did we ever find out anything from them on why the money was transferred or who
Yes,
authorized
the
it?
way those work is they're broker CDs, and they're only tied into particular banks with that interest for a year. And so, with it being tied into a year, once that term is over with, I guess like normal CDs, they mature, they'll just renew. If you don't contact the bank, you don't request anything, they'll just renew and go back into the 5-year or 1 year, whatever you do. But these are just strictly 1 year, so when they're done, they go into a holding account, really. They're not with that bank anymore, they're not tied in, they don't renew. They go to a holding account. So he had told me that that particular amount, those funds, were in a holding account for the past year, because they had renewed them the year before, so they've been sitting there. With transition in retirement, she didn't want to go ahead and lock that in to another bank or interest rate according to what was talked about in Commissioner's Court. This is all, his understanding is, so at the time, was it just sitting there? She transferred it to the tax court. He had approached her about doing more, or dividing those back up to certain rates, and nobody just really, locked in on it.
So I'm curious why only a portion was transferred and not the whole thing then?
Because those were made up of 3 CDs, and the other one is still active, so they were off. Somehow, those 4 that were initially submitted over the $1 million.
So the amount that's sitting in there is still locked up in a CD that hasn't matured yet?
No,
Okay.
it's maturing, that one is actually coming up this month or October, I believe, but they were off. Those 3, or maybe before my time, those 3 were kind of staggered, and she only submitted this one, and then going forward, they would just been sitting there. So it's not like your regular CDs with a broker CD. Once that year is over with, they come out, and it's just held until you take action and want to submit it to another bank, look at interest rates. I'm still in contact with him right now, seeing what there is, just kind of learning everything. So if we wanted to get on the ball, I can present that at another commissioner's court, what the rates are at the moment. For what I'm looking at the money. But that's, they're just sitting there. When it sits there, it's kind of what the interest is now on checking accounts. It's not earning anything, really, sitting in those holding accounts.
I'm presuming you'd rather get it somewhere else where it can earn some money.
Exactly,
Okay.
yes. So he had sent me one last week, and he's going to be sending me more of what interest rates and what banks can offer right now for those
Cool.
amounts. Thank you, John.
Motion to accept the,
I'll make a motion to approve the June and July treasurer's report.
Second.
motion by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Perdola, that we accept the June and July Treasurers Report. Is there any more questions or answers or discussion or anything? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Okay, agenda item 19. Jalen T. Bodiford as Human Resource Specialist. Acting in her place would be Brenda Trevino. Payroll and personnel changes.
Okay, just a couple of new employee status. Nathan Hernandez was hired as a corrections officer for the Sheriff's Department, making $14.65 an hour or $32,000 annually effective August 15th, 2021. Christopher Kaiser was hired as a corrections officer for the Sheriff's Department, making $14.65 an hour or $32,000 annually effective August 21st, 2021. And Carla Gonzalez was hired also as a corrections officer in the Sheriff's Department, making $14.65 an hour or $32,000 annually effective August 23rd. And that is it.
Thank you, that was quick.
Yep.
No line item or any changes like that. So now we're going to agenda item number 20, Brenda Trevino, acting as herself, county auditor. Bills.
Yes, so I have bills for you for a total of $285,771.75. Along with is the credit card register as well for August. Just write it out for each one. I have one, so.
This is the one we signed?
If you will sign that one, once approved, and the other,
Okay.
you can disregard that cover sheet. That back report is judges the credit card register that requested.
I make a motion to approve the bills.
Motion by Commissioner Martin,
Second.
second by Commissioner Perdola that we approve the bills. Are there any more questions or any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Agenda item 21 is going to be on the next agenda, the September the 27th, discussing our redistricting, and it's going to be the last agenda item on that deal to where we can have and discuss with Bickerstaff and on how we're going to be suggestions we're gonna be giving them to redistricting. And then we're gonna be having a meeting on August the 7th.
Not August the 7th.
Excuse me, October the 7th, with Bickerstaff, and that's gonna be when we really, work with how we're gonna be redistricting. So,
And that will be here in the courthouse.
yes, it'll be right here, and it's gonna be, a special commissioners court meeting.
Judge,
At
do
night.
you have the information as to when we have that second meeting and we redraw lines, so to speak? When will that take effect?
They'll be giving us that information at the 27th.
Okay, so they're going to tell us at that point, you know, my question was, once we redraw lines, whatever they are, when do they take effect?
When will it take effect?
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to, that I haven't been
I
told.
can't
Whenever we
remember from
pass
the
it
last
in
time, can you?
Commissioners Court, I guess.
Well, I mean,
Pretty much immediately, I think. We got an election.
yeah, the state's gonna set the schedule, so I don't know, they've gotta go
Okay.
into another special session for them to redistrict, and then we've gotta
Well,
make adjustments
okay.
if we need to after
It has
that.
to almost take effect to be in effect for the precincts, for the candidates that are running for office.
But the state's gotta set the schedule.
Yes.
What's that?
The state has to set the schedule.
Well, the-
Based on then in this next special session, that's supposed to be on the list is redistricting. So
Set the
they've got-
schedule?
Yeah, but
So they're
that's,
gonna decide when they're gonna be done and set the filing dates and whether or not we'll have a March primary or May primary or whatever it'll be, so.
the last time we did it, we approved hours. We approved hours. It seemed like they took effect essentially immediately. Then the state went through, the only effect they have on us is, we were one district for Congress. And then they changed it so that, if you'll recall that, Commissioner, that particularly for me, that everything on the east side of the Cibolo got a new representative, but it didn't affect our lines. It just affected where certain people got to vote.
Was explained to me by the lady from Bickerstaff was on October the 7th, we'll be setting the commissioner precincts, the precincts,
Right.
okay? Then at another time, they're gonna come back and do the voting precincts. They won't be done
Yes.
on the October the 7th.
The-
But the commissioner precincts will be done.
If we agree.
We're gonna have to agree. We can't not agree.
I mean, until we get the numbers,
Yeah.
we get the numbers when, the 27th?
Bickerstaff's got the numbers. The only number I got from them is our total population in Wilson County is 49,753.
So it didn't make 50.
They didn't tell me what precinct 1, 2, 3, or
But I
4.
mean, it didn't make the 50.
It didn't make the 50.
So how do
So,
these people go?
Nikki, we don't have to worry about the other,
This is state library picks, so I'm glad to have the 49,000.
Well, they have to go by what our census numbers are, right?
yeah?
Yeah.
They say it's a service area, so I would gladly check out them, check.
Our census is, they're telling us we're 49,753, so we're not 50,000.
That's what I said.
So, okay, moving right along, because this, even though this is an item, we're not discussing it. 22 at 10:15